It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 9 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be looking at new titles and synopsises that have been revealed for the next 8 episodes of The Walking Dead, or the next 7 episodes, because we just saw episode 9. Season 9 episode 10 all the way to Season 9 episode 16. Now, my source for this information is AMC and The Walking Dead fandom's wiki page. I already did my episode predictions for episode 10, the next episode. It's on the channel, it's already posted. You can go and check it out. So I'm not going to talk about that one here because it has its own standalone video. And in this video, I'm not even going to talk a lot about the synopsises. It's mostly going to focus on the titles because obviously for the synopsis, I will be revisiting them before each episode airs. So there's no point in talking in detail about that here because I will be revisiting that before the episode airs. Starting off with Season 9, Episode 11. The title of the episode is Bounty, which is very, very interesting. It could be related to Beta, who's also another whisperer. He could be looked at as a bounty in a way. And if we take a look, we can see that this is first appearance of Beta and first appearance of William. William is another member from the Kingdom, I believe. So that's going to be interesting. But Beta, that's his first appearance. So that could connect to why this episode is called Bounty. Who knows? Maybe Beta was the bounty before the outbreak, before the apocalypse. Maybe that's how they're going to approach that. But getting into the synopsis, again, I'm not going to go in detail, but I do want to read it over. The Savage group led by Alpha confronts the Hilltop in a harrowing attempt to retrieve her daughter. A supply run for the Kingdom turns into a dangerous quest. So this pretty much connects to this image and also some scenes we've seen in the trailers and teasers from the Kingdom. So that's pretty much connected, and it also makes sense why we see William or his first appearance. And the first part obviously is connected to how I think the previous episode, episode 10, is going to end. I think in episode 10 we're going to see Alpha and the other Whisperers show up wanting to trade Luke and Alden for Lydia. We don't know how it's going to go, but I predict we're not going to see the actual exchange or any of the actual conversation between Alpha and Daryl in that episode, in episode 10. I think it's probably going to be in episode 11 when we see that. And I think this episode is going to end with them showing us Beta or Beta's introduction. I don't think Beta is going to be in a lot of this episode. He's just going to be at the end. Next up, we have episode 12 called Guardians. Now that's an interesting title. There's really nothing else that we can grab based on the description. No synopsis released either. Guardians, the only thing that I can think of that might be related to that is exactly the image here. And, the reveal in the mid-season premiere about Rosita being pregnant. Not that that's going to take the entire episode, but I think, at least for the title, or as far as the title is concerned, that's what it's related to, I think. I could be totally wrong. Next up, we have episode 13 called Choke Point. An interesting title, not sure what to make of that. We do know that this episode is going to feature some other characters from mostly probably Kingdom and Hilltop, but we don't know too much about this episode. And the actual episode title, Choke Point, doesn't reveal too much. It could be related to the one-on-one confrontation between Daryl and Beta. We could see their fight in this episode. That could be why the episode is called Choke Point. It could be related, and it could make sense to see that in episode 13. Next episode, episode 14, is called Scars. Now, we don't know a lot of information about this episode, but obviously Scars, we know what that means, and based on the trivia, this episode will explain the origin of the X scars found on Michonne and Daryl. So we know this is going to be a flashback episode telling us what the X scars on Michonne and Daryl's backs are. Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl, was a guest on Talking Dead after the mid-season premiere, episode 9. He did reveal some very interesting details about that, which they're obviously going to dive more in detail into in episode 14. But I did do a video on that. You can actually watch that on the channel. You will see something drop down on the top right. You can click that and that'll take you to the video. But Obviously, this is going to be a flashback episode, and it's going to be connected to the X scars on Daryl and Michonne's backs. Next episode is called The Calm Before, which is very interesting. Trivia, this is the 8th episode to share the name with a comic volume after Days Gone By, Made to Suffer, This Sorrowful Life, Too Far Gone, No Way Out, A New Beginning, and What Comes After. This episode's title is similar to following episode being put together to form the common phrase, the calm before the storm. Obviously, that's related to the next episode. So this episode, episode 15, is called The Calm Before. And then episode 16, the finale, is called The Storm. So if you put it together, it's The Calm Before the Storm. Going back to episode 15, I don't think we can say much more about that. This is basically the build up to the finale. I think this is probably going to be when we're going to see the fair. We might see it earlier, but the big chunk of why the fair is important as far as the comic book is concerned, is going to take place in this episode. And I think this is going to be The Calm Before, because the finale is going to have a storm, literally and as a symbol. Because obviously we do know the finale is going to have snow in it, which is great. It's going to be the first time they're going to have a snow or a blizzard on The Walking Dead in the TV show universe. That's pretty cool. But also, from a symbolism perspective, there's going to be a storm coming. There is going to be a big event that's going to take place. For comic readers, we know exactly what that is. Going into the finale, let's see what we can actually get from that. There's no synopsis or anything released. But for trivia, this episode's title is similar to the previous episode, being put together to form a common phrase, the calm before the storm. We talked about that. This episode will mark the first time snow is featured in the show. We talked about that. I am very excited for it, and I think it's going to be great to see a change in scenery, environment, and it's going to be a change in the mood of the, episode, to be honest with you. However, in the comics, snow was first seen back in issue 7. Nothing else we can really say, but obviously it's going to have the Pike lineup border scene. I don't want to dive in detail in that because there could be non-comic readers watching this video, but this is going to be a big episode. It's going to be a bloody episode. And, mix that with them featuring snow in the episode, we could see some great imagery scenes in the episode. But it's going to be a big episode. I mean, it's going to be an equivalent of Game of Thrones Red Wedding. I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but I know what that episode is. And that's why I can make that comparison. But that's basically it. It's going to be directed by Greg Nicotero, which is great. Let me see which of the previous episodes are directed by him. So Greg Nicotero is going to direct episode 12 and episode 16. So that's going to be very cool because he directs the iconic episodes. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads. And while you're at it, check out my gaming channel, Jedi Age Gaming.